Hello fans, I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of the Kevin Piland Show. Now, I do want to tell you about what happened to a buddy of mine, but before that, I want to tell you about the most recent story that bothered me the most. There was this soldier who was deployed, and he was video chatting with his wife, and but out of nowhere, she gets stabbed by one of her husband's coworkers, considering he was also in the same military. Just kind of makes me wonder why people act the way they do. Yeah. But that story just kind of terrified me, so I waited a few weeks before at least seeing the video to actually talk about it. And there was one story out here in Abilene that bothered me as well. It was about yet another stabbing, except two people got stabbed by one of the motorcycle gang members. The good news is I don't have to release the name, but bad news is the man was arrested after originally becoming the person of interest. By the way, if you want to know why you're hearing baby cries, that's because I have a nephew named Zachary. I figured you guys want to know that too. Now, when we come back, I'll tell you how I felt about what happened to a buddy of mine. And then after that, I'm going to tell you about an affiliation switch that I didn't even think much about after this. I want to take a moment to address a situation that happened on October the 10th of 2013. I don't remember exactly when it took place, but I do remember what happened. On that day alone, I received a Facebook friend request from a gentleman whom I thought was a friend of mine, because I've been friends with this guy for about a few years now. And some of you may not have seen his face, but you've heard him on my show. Well, his account has been hacked. And while Facebook hacking has happened in the past, I've had that happen too, only fake Facebook posts would appear to come from me, but it actually wasn't me after all, and I would delete the posts and I would discover them after the fact. But this one was different. This one was a Facebook friend request that allowed me to investigate whether or not it was actually my friend Sean Hardesty or not. But it turned out it wasn't actually him. And it wasn't just me that this imposter was Facebook friends with. I did an investigation and learned that another buddy of mine who works for KBCY, he too was also one of the mutual friends on that Facebook page. And so I decided, well, I'm going to do something different. I decided to delete the imposter page. But before I did that, I shared the link to the extra Facebook page that Sean knew nothing about. Because when he told me that he doesn't remember having two Facebook accounts, that meant a lot to me. Because I know he would never do something like that. So for me to discover something like that, and some of his Facebook friends not even know it, that made me very angry. Because number one, identity theft in any form is not allowed. Number two, someone pretending to be somebody I know, whether it's me or anybody that I know, whether I've worked with them or not, I find that to be very unacceptable. So what I did was I shared the link to the imposter page on my friend's Facebook page. And what happened next meant a lot to me as well. And we'll have more of that later on in the show. But first, I want to tell you that what this person did infuriates me. And it infuriates his family as well, especially his wife, who also found out about it after the fact. His brother told him about the hacking, but he at first had a hard time believing it, from what I understand. Which is one of the questions that I want to talk to him about on my show. And, you know, it's just one of those things you just have to think about. I blocked the account after deleting the imposter Facebook page. And I recommended that everyone do the exact same thing. That way they don't have to worry about being harassed, or that way they don't have to go through any unnecessary messages that aren't their fault. Because it was doing things that he was not aware of, and, you know, there are certain things that I find very unacceptable. So my message to the person who did this to my friend, shame on you. Don't you ever do that again. And when we come back, my friend Sean Hardesty joins me as a guest on the show today. Welcome back. Now, I'll tell you, there was one station in Abilene, Texas, where I'm from, that had to change affiliates recently. I did research on this and learned that it took place on November 1st. And this was due to an ownership change with This TV. And it became Me-TV, Memorable Entertainment Television. But that station's been around since 2005, but most have never heard of it back in the day. But lots of people haven't been able to actually pick up that station until weeks ago. Now, it's just one of those things. Things that get you. I just don't get why I just don't get why it took place, because This TV was just fine for the last 3 years, starting in 2010. The station serving as This TV Abilene, before it became Me-TV, was actually a Telemundo affiliate, meaning that you had to play Spanish programming and you had to also speak Spanish during the newscasts from time to time. But that since has been long gone, because we needed something different to watch on TV besides that Spanish stuff. Nobody even watches them anyways, except for when you have cable. But I also found out that Telemundo demanded that we get it in HD, but it doesn't work that way, which is also why Texas had to pull the plug on their station. Meanwhile, that was before we got HD for the first time on their TV station, the only one. The rest of their sub channels are still in standard definition. Better known as analog. Meaning you could actually watch those stations on an analog TV set and it'll be fully screened. I know, scratch my nose all the time, but what the heck. You know, it's just one of those things.